Hello amigos, como estas? Welcome back to the channel. Just a quick little video today. I want to talk about a subject that's come up over the last couple of days involving Alexis Vega and obviously his future with Chivas. Just going straight into it, obviously it was his birthday yesterday. With the time difference, I'm never quite sure, but I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. Thanksgiving Day, I think it was. So happy birthday to him. Seems like he had a good one from the videos and stuff I saw with him and Coutinho and three other people. So yeah, happy birthday to him. So going straight into it, obviously, some reports. I don't know whether it was because it was his birthday or whether it was just a coincidence, but about the same time, some reports came out that he's obviously got 6 months left on his contract, and he's looking relatively likely that he's not going to renew his contract, and then obviously he's going to leave on a free. So let's go straight into it. So the from the Chivas perspective, from the Chivas fan perspective, pretty bad for him to leave, especially on a free because he's arguably our best outfield player. He's been our best outfield player pretty much for about a year and a half now, maybe 2 years. So yeah, he's very valuable to the team. Has been a bit off this past tournament, some injuries and stuff, but he's been playing with Mexico a lot more, especially with the Olympics and the senior team. So he's been injured a little bit more than usual. He's always been a little bit injury prone, but this season's pretty affected him pretty bad. And he's had a bit of a meh season, really. But undoubtedly, probably the best outfield player in Chivas at the moment. Um, and it's nice to see him doing well with Mexico. So from a Chivas fans' perspective, I don't want him to leave because he's my favourite player on the team. Has been pretty much since we got him. Um, and I don't want to see him leave. You know, he's my favourite player for quite a lot of reasons. But um, and also the fact that if we're going to be building on this team, if we're talking about Aguirre from Santos or Jimenez from Cruz Azul, bringing in the star striker in because we haven't really got a star striker at the moment, or any striker really. I don't think Vega is a striker. For a while, up until a few months ago, I thought he could be, but he's been given a decent chance at striker for Chivas this season. Hasn't been up for it. I think he's more of a cam, a number 10. Maybe out wide if he has to, but I prefer him as a number 10. So we need a striker. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool. If we get, Eduardo Aguirre from Santos, that could be good. Like them two together, youngish players, really good players, Mexican national team experience. Well, the Olympics experience for Aguirre. Um, that could be good. But they're saying that if we're gonna get rid of if we're going to let Vega go and get a striker in, it kind of gets rid of one problem and creates another one because we don't really have quality suppliers up front. Maybe Travis Lopez can come back in, I think, next summer when he gets back from San Jose. Um, but we don't really have many creative players. Antuda doesn't create too much chances. Brazuela as well. Brazuela's alright, I guess, but we need suppliers as well as people that can finish the product. So for me, I would like us to keep Vega and get a really decent young striker in, pair them up together and see what happens. But it's up to him. I mean, whether he's just holding out for a little bit more money, which he deserves, I think, or he's want to leave because going to the player point of view for me is he's doing exactly what players have been doing for the last year or so. He's running down their contracts, refusing to renew, and then leaving on a free. One, it forces the clubs to sell them or get rid of them, and two, Europe's more attracted to players that are on a free. You're thinking of all loans, but I can't see anyone loaning Vega out. I can't see Chivas wanting to loan him out either. So, so he's doing exactly what I would expect him to do if he wants to get his moves. I don't think Chivas will sell him unless they get a lot of money. And I don't think a European team is going to pay a lot of money for him, purely because he's not played much. He's a little bit injury prone. Plus, Europe doesn't really seem to be looking at Mexico at the moment, or Liga MX. So he's doing what I expect him to be doing, really. And there's rumors that he desperately wants to go to Europe, which I want for him. Um, to a decent club, I think I can't stress this enough. It really does depend on what club goes in for him. Because you see Macias jumping ship and going to Europe, and he's having a terrible time over there. Alexis as well had a terrible time over there. It really does. It seems to be a hit and miss. Ortega came in to Belgium, Genk, and then had a little bit of a tough start, but now he's one of their best players. Um, who else? I mean, Santi hasn't played for Newcastle yet, so I can't really use him. Johan Vasquez as well had a bit of a tough start, but he seems to be getting regular playing time now. It's just, I don't know. Edson Alvarez, Chico when they both went to Napoli and Ajax, respectively, they had terrible times at the beginning of their careers, but now they're both integral parts of their team. So it does depend. I think Vega can go to any European club and fight as long as he stays fit and healthy. I can see him fighting for a first team spot and doing as good as Artiego or as Alvarez has done. But it does depend on what club. It does depend on what league. I don't want him going to Portugal. I don't want him going to Turkey. Spain's a bit of a hit and miss. You can either go to a top club like Atletico Madrid and barely play, or you go to a lesser club like Getafe and still not play. So a bit weird. Bit weird for Macias not to be playing. He's a young striker, bags of talent. You'd think that they'd be at least trying him a lot more. So so it just depends on which team comes in for him. If a Dortmund comes in for him, that's cool. Ajax, I'd love to see him Ajax or PSV. To be honest, PSV are doing alright. Gutierrez finally seems to be finding his step now with PSV. Had a terrible time over there recently, but very, very recently he's kind of picked up and getting a lot more playing time. So good for him. It shows that hard work pays off. My opinion is that I want him to stay at Chivas, obviously, but if he does go, I absolutely want him to go to Europe. I don't want him. My worst nightmare is that he goes to another Liga MX club because he can devastate Chivas. If he's playing against Chivas, he's already scored against Chivas for Toluca a bunch of times. If he goes to a Monterrey or a Pachuca, he's going to score loads. And not just that, he's going to do really well with a team that supports him attacking wise, because Chivas don't do that at the moment. He's supposed to Chivas. He's being forced to be the main guy, and I think he works better when he's got top quality in front of him or around him, which is why he does so well in Mexico. It's up to. It's up in the air at the moment. But he could he could renew his contract tomorrow, and this video can just be for nothing. But he could also go to Europe. I'd love for him to go to England. Maybe the Premier League, maybe Wolves. Stranger things have happened. He's 23, 24 now, so he's, approaching. He's very mature. He's at a mature age now where he can go abroad with his family and deal with it pretty well as long as his family go with him. Edson Alvarez had a little bit of a terrible time because his family wasn't with him, and I think we forget the human aspects. I think sometimes when a player goes abroad and misses his family, misses his life, his whole life just abruptly changes. That's bound to affect them on the field. So hopefully his family can go with him. Hopefully it's a good club in a decent league. And then he can just continue to improve and continue to grow and continue to get minutes with El Tree. But if Chivas lose him, especially on a free, it's like the one thing that could make it even more obvious that Chivas are on a bit of a downward spiral at the moment, is losing their best player. It would be as bad as when we lost Pizarro. Probably worse in the sense that we at least got some money for Pizarro. They bought him, so losing him on the free, he's the best player. Like, we'll have to replace him. There's no way in hell that we can replace him with the player that we already have, because there's no one there as good as him, in my opinion, that could do the same things that he can do. So it'd be really bad for Chivas unless they can, do some good business and buy maybe a Poncho Gonzalez, or maybe, God forbid, Poncho Guzman. That would be cool. That would be a good replacement. But does Chivas have the money for that? I mean, wages alone, I think Vega's on decent wages, so maybe they'll save some money on wages. But Chivas need cash right now, and I'm just worried that need's gonna make them go, hey, let's just sell them to Rayados for 20 million, US dollars, and just be done with it. I hope they don't. I really don't want him to go to another League Rex club. I either want him to stay or I want him to go to a decent European club. In a decent league, in a league where he's going to compete and be in the Europa League or the Champions League, or because he absolutely deserves it. I mean, he's a top quality lad. He always has been since he was at Toluca, and you absolutely want him to do well. But we'll have to wait and see. My personal opinion is I'd prefer him to stay, at least for like another year. Maybe see what Chivas does in the winter, in the break. Whether we bring in decent players and then go to Liga. But he's only been to one Liga with Chivas since the whole time he's been here. I think he's been here for two and a half years, I think. 3 years, maybe? 2 years? I can't remember now, 2 or 3 years, but it's been a long time. I've got a video of when we signed him, so I'll have to go back and have a look and see when we signed him, but pretty sure it's 2018. But, yeah, I mean, I would rather have him buy a decent striker, for me, Chivas needs to buy a decent striker, a top quality striker, in my opinion. Aguirre could do. Jimenez as well, I guess, could do. He might be a bit more hit miss. Buy a top quality midfielder to partner with Beltran, maybe a Guzman, maybe a Poncho Gonzalez, maybe even Jonathan Gonzalez. And then a top quality defender. I think our defence is quite aging now. We need to get a younger defence in. And then go from there. I think Vega's top quality number 10. I think Angulo and Antuna are decent wingers, with Brizuela as well floating around. I think Godinho is a top quality goalkeeper, so if we can just boost up the defence, boost up the midfield, and get a good striker in, Chivas have got enough, I think, to get a Liga next season. But if we don't buy anyone and we let Vega go on a free, or we sell him to another Liga MS club, I mean, what more of a sign of the downfall of Chivas than that? Like I said with Pizarro, at least we got money for Pizarro and we spent it. I think some of that money went on Chakotay and the Galacticos, or whatever you call them, Chiva Galacticos, or whatever they were called. Getting no money for Vega, not spending any money on players, or getting a little bit of money and selling it to a Liga MX club, for me, is just like the absolute death, I guess you could say, of Chivas, because it's like, how can you come back from that? You can't, really. He's our best player. It is what it is. I mean, for me, I don't want to see any hate towards Vega, because I don't think anyone will. I think every Chivas fan's probably going to understand. He needs to leave. He needs to go to Europe. Blah blah blah. But there are going to be some haters over there. There's always trolls on the internet. Think, he just wants money. Blah blah blah. He doesn't really love the club. I think he does love the club. He's been through us for arguably the worst period since 2017. And he's been our best player at times, by far. Even more than Macias. I mean, Macias was brought back from Leon, and he was poised to be our star striker who's going to get us into the gears and score those goals. He didn't really. He scored a decent amount, but it was Vega the one that was scoring. He set up the goal against Atlas. He scored a load of important goals for Chivas, and I think he does love the club, but he's got the right to go to Europe, and he knows that Chivas are not going to sell him to a European club unless they get decent money, and he knows the European club's not going to pay that. So he's doing exactly what I think he's going to do, and what what I imagined he was going to do is run down his contract, get a free move to Europe somewhere, and have his European adventure. He absolutely deserves it. Um, what clubs I want to see him go to? Obviously, like I said, Dortmund, Ajax, maybe an Italian club. No, I mean, I'd love to see him in England. It just depends on what team. I mean, I think he suits Leeds. I think he'd do quite well under Bielsa. Wolves as well. I can see, Wolves, you know, um, number 10 wise, since they got rid of Jota, I think they're a bit weak. They got that South Korean kid, but he's more of a winger, I think. Um, I'd have. I'd have Vega at Wolves, to be honest with you. They already have that kind of Mexico side glance kind of thing with the whole Raul Jimenez thing. So maybe, maybe a championship club. I don't know, but it's gonna heat up, and then he's got 6 months left. Any time in that 6 months now, we could break that he's agreed another club, or he's agreed to renew his contract with the Chivas. I reckon he's probably going to renew. My hunch says he's going to renew with probably some agreements like, hey, in the summer I want to leave. But I can also see him not. I can also see him going to Europe. Like I said, I just hope he doesn't go to another Mexican club. If he does, I'm still going to love him. He's my favourite player. But it would be a shame, and it would be a shame because I think he will do really well at any other Mexican club, any top club anyway. But anyway, that's me rambling on a bit. I just thought I could make this video. I've got a few more videos coming out. There's one summing up Chivas this season. That requires a little bit more time and more in depth, and I just don't have the time at the moment. I'm in the middle of a shift run, so maybe like Tuesday, Wednesday time, I might get that video out. There's a couple more videos. There's an Arsenal video I want to bring out. Maybe a Mexico preview for the World Cup qualifiers. Maybe that come out. Maybe I might do a Mexicans in Europe video. Obviously, there's loads of stuff going on with that. Some really good performances, some really not good performances for Mexican players in Europe at the moment. So, a bunch of videos. I haven't made a video for a while, so I thought I'd make one quickly for this because it's just come up. Anyway, guys, let me know in the comments what you think about Vega. Do you think he should stay? Do you think he should go? Where do you think he should go? If he does move to another Liga MX club, do you think you won't like him as much? And where would he fit for another? Would he fit at Tigres? I think he'd fit pretty well at Monterrey, but I don't really want to go to Monterrey. I don't want to go to anywhere in Mexico, to be honest. But let me know what European clubs that you think could realistically go in for him and why. And so let me know, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you guys in a few days. So, adios.